Hi guys, SDG RSNF88 speaking with a much overdue layout update. Now to keep this, to try to keep this short and sweet, I have just decided to do a separate video which is linked below. Should be uploaded the day before this, so you might have already seen it, but basically it's a channel update with all the information that I normally blabber on at the start in, so it basically keeps it all separate and makes this video nice and short. So click on the link below for all the information on videos and what's to come on the channel in the near future, and also events as well. So anyway, on with the layout update. Now, from what I can remember from the last update, I just done this ballasting around here, and I wasn't sure, too sure about it. I was a bit annoyed that it was uneven. As you can see, it's still a bit uneven, but that can't be helped because it's quite a coarse ballast, and it's really hard to get sitting level. Well, it's not coarse ballast, it's medium, as you know, but it's quite coarse, so it's quite hard to get level. But I think it looks alright, and if you sort of stand and look back, I've come to like it, and it looks pretty good. It looks a bit lighter on the camera than what it is when if you actually see it in the flesh. It's a bit darker because the washes I used on it, but I'm quite pleased with it, and I might weather it up in the future, in the near future maybe, but I honestly don't know. But anyway, as you saw, in between the tracks was this grass mat which is partly ripped up and stuff, but now, as you can see, I have added turf. Now this is this is coarse turf, and it's a blend of burnt grass and light green, I believe, which is the same as what I used on the hills over there. As you can see, there's the burnt grass and there's the light green sort of thing, but if you mix the two together and add a certain blend, you get this really nice overall effect, basically. Basically, the reason for doing it like this, like I said, I want to keep it a bit cheaper, and static grass is quite expensive, especially if you're going for like the long fibres like I used on Compton Martin, which I must admit they are worth it. But really, I want to keep this quite simple and cheap, basically, but look very good at the same time. And as you can see, it gives a really lovely effect. Quite a few layouts that I've seen on YouTube have used this, and there is a sort of a level view, and as you can see, it looks very nice, lush and wild, which is the look that I'm going for. But as you can see, the track before, this is where a power clip's been moved, and sadly I am going to use these same power clips again, but when I come around to rewiring the track next, these will obviously be replaced with a much better way of connecting power to the track. But before this turf was added, the ballast was quite sharp. By sharp I mean as you can see, it's quite a distinction between the floor level and the ballast. But since this turf has been added, it really gives a nice blend. I mean, especially there, it gives the effect that the sort of the turf is encroaching in on the ballast, and it looks really good, and really gives it a nice realistic effect. And it's like that all the way along, as you can see. If the lighting shows up, but there you go. It does really give a nice effect. So I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. I may add some of the flowers, like I did on the banks on Compton Martin, the purple and yellow flowers, to this area to spruce it up a bit, and I may add some of those hedges as well if I get my hands on some, to sort of build up the area around here. If we come on down here, there's a signal here. Now this is not permanent; it's just temporary at the moment. But if I lift it up, as you can see, that's what it looked like before I added this turf last week. I left a bit of this area blank. Reason for this, because I'm very tempted to add one of those lovely dapple signals. When I raise up the funds to get one, of course, because they are quite expensive. Actually, I think they're quite reasonable for what they are. They look amazing, and they work amazingly as well. They're really lovely functional items. But they're about £20. Basically, what I'm going to do is I've left this area blank so I can drill the hole down through and then place it in there. And it'll basically be a signal precisely like the one on Compton Martin, or roughly the same design as this, a home signal. And basically, with the operational light, I'll put it there. So I can do some lovely shots from this angle, because I'm not going to put the building back here, which there's a big warehouse here. That one there, as you can see. I'm not sure if I'm going to put that back there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this area at all yet. But I'm thinking of using this as like a camera angle. So sorry if I rest the camera like this. Get a lovely shot, and I can have an engine pulling up there. Get the sound clips. So I've got an engine like stopping, and then from my sound clips that I record, because I love creating those videos. have it pulling up at the signal and the signal going green, and then it pulling through. I think that would make a lovely shot, and it would also add a bit more interest. It'd probably be the only one that I'll get for the layout, because as I mentioned, they are, they all add up, being £20 a pop. They're quite expensive. So, but it's quite close to the controller as well, so hopefully I won't have to extend the wires, although that may need to be done. But for the time being, it will stay like that, and if I don't get round to it, I'll just put a bit of turf over it, over the bottom of that, because the signal doesn't look too bad there, but I'll probably replace it, or I'll probably just leave it there for the time being. But there you are. So that's one other thing that I've done. Moving along, I've done a tiny bit of ballasting here. I've started laying the tracks. As you can see, the points are now down. It's been pinned down to there on this section, so that pair of points in, that's bits in. Those are basically in, being held in by that, but they can be lifted off. That bit's not been put in, but I've connected the track up there anyway. But as you can see the 4 sidings now. The sort of the little short siding, which will go up to the join the board. Then the long siding for the good shed. Then the long engine shed siding with the isolating track, which you can see in the pile of track there, which is one of the new sections I got, which means I can isolate an engine in the engine shed and then park another one in front of it there. And then also the siding on the end, where there'll be a little siding going off into the coal merchant's yard or coaling area for the engines, and then also the another road for an engine shed as well, the second engine shed road, I should say. So yeah, that's been started to lay that bits of track, and I hope to lay that track very, very soon. The reason why I haven't laid it yet is because I've been having to do a lot of work over at the back. As you saw in the last update, the rock face was getting underway. I painted it, but now I've finally added all the foliage to it, as you can see. Same as this here. So you get a better detail, but basically it's the same turf stuff as I've mentioned, with the bits of underbush and bush itself, and it gives a really, really nice effect. I've done it on the spine there, connected it to the aqueduct, and it gives it a lovely effect, and also along the top there. So that's come out really, really well. I've also repainted the tunnel mouth. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in an update, but I painted it black first time round. It was a Sutton colour, I was quite pleased with it, but when I sprayed the scenic cement to hold the stuff on the rock face, it got wet and part of the paint rubbed off. So I had to repaint it, but this time it came out matte. So that's even better, so that was sort of an improvement in a way. One of the things that I've been doing which has been quite time consuming, is the arches. Now, as you saw from the old videos, the aqueduct is made out of wood, and it's only a face really. So you've got these arches on the front, but on the back there is no arches. And basically, if you saw my older videos, we could basically see this arch I'm pointing at. You could basically see all the way through it into the other arch. It was basically hollow underneath. It was just this pillar on the front, which is about that thick. So it looked quite tacky really, considering it's an aqueduct. But it did the job of its time, but I've obviously wanted to update it. So what I did is I got some blocks of wood. I may have mentioned this in quite an old update, but I finally got round to it. Got some blocks of wood, glued it down, right the same level with the bottom of this, the edge of the pillars. So I've got one thin block there, one thin block there, and it's like that for every single arch. There's basically 2 blocks of wood behind each one, level with the angle of that. Then what I did is I got some, I think it's the Metcalf cobble stones, card, sorry, which is, I've used the thinner strips on here, but it comes in 2 forms. You get 2 road width strips on an A4 sheet, which as you can see I've used for the village or town scene, but you get these full A4 ones, which I cut down and rolled up. And then slotted them in there. And basically what the wood was glued in for was to stop the bottoms from fanning out. So there's no glue involved, with the paper itself. All I just rolled it up, and obviously it wants to try and try to go back to its normal flat shape. So it pushes out, and then obviously creates the arch. And as you can see, I've done this to all 7 arches. So you've got the one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and it really creates the effect that they are proper arches. So I've got vehicles parked under there, and it looks absolutely, I was really, really pleased with that. It really does look like an aqueduct now. And to prove it, if you look the other way, it's, I can't reach it far over the camera, but as you can see, if you look the other way as well, basically it's, it is just rolled up full bit of paper, so you've got the full arch effect in there as well. What else have I done? I've weathered the road surface, so it's been dulled down. I probably mentioned that in the last update. But I've painted this area as well. I've got to weather it down yet. I did practice a bit of weathering around the coal area because that stayed from the old part of the layout. But I've got to weather it down with that sort of wash because it'd be a bit odd to have it sort of light there and dark over there. The reason why I weathered that is because there was loads of chips in the board. So it creates the effect of potholes. So I'm going to weather it down anyway. So it matches that area over there. Yeah, it's no biggie. All I just do is put a bit of a wash on it and rub it off and stuff, and it gives a nice effect. So once that is done, I'll be able to lay the track, all the track, and then I'll start ballasting. As you can see, I've only just done this, but because it's all wet, hence there's glue on the sleepers, which you can see there's little white splodges there. But I've done some more ballasting, and I've only done this far today. It took me about 2 hours to do this section, trying to get it level, but as always, it's not as level as I would like it to be. But again, I've added water. To start it off by laying it all down in between the tracks, and I went over it with some water with some black pigment in it to sort of dull it down. And then obviously I went over with the glue and the glue and water solution to glue it all down. And I'll add a few more coats of that watered down PVA solution to make it go rock hard, like over here, so it won't come off. And basically that'll be solid. But the only reason why I've done it up to that far is so I can climb up onto the layout and get to the back, so I can hammer in the track at the back, and also work my way down with the ballast, because there's no point in ballasting all the way along here and then have to crawl up over it, because one, I may damage the ballast, which I highly doubt because it is quite rock solid, as I mentioned, and not going anywhere. But the main thing I can see is hurting my knees on it, because it is quite rough. And I could just imagine getting up and then having my knees with ballast imprints on them. So that's one reason. It's basically for ease of maintenance. So I could basically crawl up over the back once all the track's laid, and then start ballasting all the way back, and then ballast all the yards, and then finally, when that is done, I'll just finish off the 2 rails at the front. So yeah, that's about it. So that's basically what's going to be happening in the next update when I get round to it, because as you know, I've been going out and about lots of places. So I'll weather down that first, lay the track, and then hopefully start ballasting. As for this area along the front here, I honestly do not know what to do with it yet. But I'm sure I'll figure out something in the future. I'm not sure if the siding's going to stay. But as you can see, it's a hodgepodge of new and old really, and I would love to get this half up to that standard, because although that's not amazing super detailed standard like Compton Martin, as you can see, I mean, just look at the the difference is obvious. That is 1,000 times better. So yeah. Oh, one more thing. The HM2000 is going to be replaced. I have got a replacement. I've got the Gauge Master D controller, or is it DD? I've totally forgotten, but it's a double controller. And I asked people about it, and they said they're absolutely amazing. And obviously, using my combi on Compton Martin, the running is absolutely outstanding. So I've invested in one of those. It's in a box behind me. But basically, when I get round to it, I've got the old one up here at the moment, because just in case I spill glue or anything. Obviously, I try not to, because I'm still going to use this at some point. I'm going to keep this. This is going to go into storage. But the Gauge Master DD will go here, and being a lot smaller, it'll give me a lot more room to do a bit of scenery around there when I get onto it. So that's all for this update. It's come out about the same length, but as you know, I've had a lot to get through, and I haven't wasted my time blabbering on about other stuff. So I'll put the link at the bottom of the screen now. So if you want to know what's been happening, with the channel and videos to come and all that, click on the link below. So I think that's all for now, and I hope to have another layout update coming in the next few weeks. So anyway, this has been SDJR88 speaking, and thanks for watching.